que nosotros contratamos con...
Hi, good morning, and welcome everyone to this webinar on behalf of Extenda. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for sharing your time with us. My name is Maria Zumárraga. I am the coordinator of market development in the United Kingdom at Extenda. Extenda, as you may know, is the trade promotion agency of Andalusia, a company that belongs to the Andalusian government in the south of Spain, dedicated to support the internationalization of the Andalusian companies. Today we are here to get to know better the biotechnology industry in the United Kingdom. In a few seconds, Felipe Martinez Ares, Extenda's director in the United Kingdom, will give us some more details about the content of the webinar and the guest. But before that, I would like to remember you that at the end of the session, you will be able to send your questions and comments through the chat. So you are very welcome to participate and make the most of the webinar. I will also like to remember you that this webinar is being recorded and the video will be available from tomorrow at Extenda TV in our website, www.extenda.es. So thank you so much again for your attention and enjoy the webinar. Felipe, please.
Thank you so much, Maria. I'm going to shut the camera. I would like to thank you all once again for joining us today. I hope you find this webinar interesting. Showing the schedule plan for today's webinar, we are most pleased to have with us two speakers who will bring us closer to the biotechnology industry in the UK and its importance as a potential market for foreign companies from a dual perspective, as a consumer market and as an investment destination. The first half of the webinar will be covered by Martin Turner from the Bioindustry Association. Martin is Head of Policy and Public Affairs at the Bioindustry Association since January 2019, and he is responsible for the BIA's policy outputs and public affairs activities. He also leads on innovation and industrial strategy policy and provides the Secretariat for the BIA's Finance and Tax Advisory Committee and the Intellectual Property Advisory Committee. And now he's over to Martin. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning. Hopefully everyone can see me. It's really great to be here today. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you everyone for joining. So I am going to give an introductory talk to my organisation and what we do to support companies both in the UK and also international life science companies that would like to connect with the UK life sciences ecosystem. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the strengths of our ecosystem in the UK and what we have to offer companies such as yourselves, including what our government is doing to support the sector. And then I'm going to hand over to Rosalind, who will delve into some of those issues in much more detail than I am. So hopefully we will complement each other and answer a lot of your questions throughout our presentations, and of course at the end as well, when there'll be more opportunity to answer questions. So as Philippe said, I'm Head of Policy and Public Affairs at the BIA. We are the trade association for innovative life sciences companies in the UK. We support our members through influencing the policy environment here in the UK and also internationally to make the UK a great place to start and grow a life sciences company. We connect our members both in the UK and internationally, and we also help our members save money through savings programs on lab supplies and travel costs and all sorts of other things. We have 430 members that range from one-man spin-outs from universities through to the largest international pharmaceutical companies in the world. As you can see, 47% of our members are SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. Primarily, they are developing new medicines, but they also have other applications such as agri-tech and environmental services as well. There's a real range, although definitely medicine is the most common application. 15% of our members are large companies. We have Pfizer, AstraZeneca, GSK, etc. in our membership. And then we also have what we call associate and network members. So associate are organizations such as law firms, investors, IP, intellectual property consultants, etc., that support the sector. And then the network members are universities and technology transfer offices and all sorts of other organizations that also support the sector, but on a less commercial basis. Here you can see some of those members of ours. Hopefully you'll recognize quite a few names. Obviously the UK has some great universities such as Manchester University, and we have those, and the Francis Crick Institute, which is Europe's largest biomedical research institute. We have investors such as Abingworth, law firms such as Allen and Overy, and then within that 47% of SME corporate members, you'll recognize some names such as Autolus and Quell, both cell and gene therapy companies, Cobra Bio, a CDMO, Touchlight, also a CDMO, and Benevolent AI, applying, as the name would suggest, artificial intelligence to the drug discovery process. And then on the far right, many well-known names, Illumina, Sanofi, etc. So it really is a great community that we have who support us and work with us to strengthen both the UK and the global environment for life sciences. We help companies reach into the UK, and I'll talk about how we do that in a second, but I would encourage anyone interested in connecting with UK companies to reach out to us. We can connect you to different regions within the UK which have their own strengths and their own communities, and we also of course do that for our internal members running events across the country as well. Those events range from large gala dinners where the whole sector gets together for a great networking session, to more thoughtful thought leadership events such as our Life Sciences Leadership Summit, where the CEOs of our member companies get together to discuss the main issues facing our sector. And then we have some conferences focused on different parts of our sector, such as Bioprocess UK, which is for our members who are primarily focused on manufacturing, for instance. We support diversity within our sector. We have a Women in Biotech network that has been national, but actually had its most recent event at a transatlantic event, pairing up with Bio in America, which was a great success. And then we run Parliament Day, which is a big lobbying event where we bring our members into central government in the UK to lobby parliamentarians. And then we also have Pulse, which is the program for upcoming life science entrepreneurs, which supports, as the name would suggest, either academics wanting to spin out companies or individuals who have just created their first spin out and are looking for some mentoring and some support, understanding tax and investment and intellectual property and building a board and everything else that it takes to create a successful spin out company. We're also part of global networks, so we sit on the board of Europa Bio, the Pan-European Life Sciences Trade Association for biotech companies. We were a founding member of the International Council for Biotech Associations, and actually our CEO, Steve Bates, is chair of that association. And we have strong bilateral links with Bio in America, as I mentioned a moment ago, the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine in America, and the Forum for Innovative Regenerative Medicine in Japan as well. So through those associations, we are able to monitor and engage with what's happening internationally, be it in Geneva or in America or anywhere else in the world, and act as one voice across the whole world when necessity requires. I won't spend too much time on this, but some of our work to engage with the government, as I mentioned, we take our members into Parliament each year to meet with parliamentarians and also civil servants, and make sure that our sector and the issues that it faces are high on the government's agenda. We have a range of advisory committees as well, which any of our members are welcome to join. These guide both our policy and influencing work with government, but also some of our events and other activities that support our members. So these are issue-specific advisory committees. For instance, we have one on finance and tax, we have a cell and gene therapy one, we have one on regulatory affairs, another on manufacturing. And these all provide a forum for experts from within our membership to get together and guide our work, and also network and learn from each other as well. You can find us on social media, and also our website carries blogs and job postings and event listings, both our own events and others, and also member news. And this is a great way if you're wanting to stay in touch with what's happening in the UK, or even search for jobs that are available in the UK or events. You can find all of that on our website. And of course, we promote it all on social media, both on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. And you can sign up at bioindustry.org to receive all of those alerts if you are interested. And then finally, on what the BIA has to offer, if you're a member, you can save a lot of money on your lab supplies, on your insurance, on your travel costs and office supplies, all sorts of things that you need as a company, as a startup company, or as a growing SME. And as you can see, in 2020, our members saved £9.5 million through these schemes. So they really are very worthwhile if you're setting up activities in the UK. Now, Rosalind's going to delve into these in much more detail, but I did want to touch on some of the strengths of the UK ecosystem, reasons why you might want to engage with it and connect with companies within our ecosystem. So on publishing, the UK really does punch well above its weight. So you can see from the blue dots here, biotech companies, these are publications from biotech companies between 2018 and 2020. The UK published roughly half of what the US did, despite the obviously very different sizes of our economies and sectors, and made up over half of what the rest of Europe also published. So it's a very active innovation ecosystem, a lot of research going on, a lot of publications, whether you look at it via GDP or how much we're investing into our sector. UK biotech companies publish an awful lot, and if you collaborate with them, of course, you can join in on that success and that knowledge discovery. The ecosystem in the UK also has strengths across a range of modalities and therapeutic areas. This is analysis from McKinsey, published at the Bioequity Conference last year, or perhaps the year before. And as you can see, across immunotherapy and cell and gene therapy, oncology, central nervous system disorders, the UK has strengths across all of these, and also crucially in the service provision sector as well. So if you are looking for CRO services or other services to support your research or your manufacturing, the UK is a great place to come and search out that support for you. There's a great deal of investment coming into the sector, and of course, if you were to set up a satellite office in the UK, it would help to attract some of that investment. So as you can see again from the blue line here, the UK is really attracting a lot of funding when you look at the other European countries. We have a great deal of American venture capital firms moving over to the UK to seek out investment opportunities. They realize the science is as good as they can find in America, but the valuations are lower, and the market is not quite so overheated. So yes, it's really great to see so many US VCs setting up offices in the UK and making connections with UK and European countries. They're using it as a European base. So they are reaching out to France and Spain and Germany, but of course they see London particularly as the place to base themselves. Then finally, on what the UK has to offer, there's a great deal of investment going into the creation of lab space as well, which is really great to see. Excuse me, and all across the country as well. So in London, of course, there's Canary Wharf, the great financial centre, is actually being partly converted into a life sciences hub, realising that life sciences is key to the future economy and a real growth area for the UK economy. Blackstone, the very large American private equity firm, is investing £850 million into Cambridge, probably the leading city for life sciences in the UK. But then across the UK, up in Aberdeen, which is in Scotland, on the northeast coast, they're famous for oil and gas. They're trying to turn that into a life sciences growth area with the BioHub. And then Alderley Edge, up near Manchester in the heart of England, has also received significant investment and is a really great place to base yourselves if you don't want to be around London or Cambridge. Now, finally, just to touch on the support that companies within our sector get from the government, partly because Roslyn, as a civil servant, will be able to talk about this, but maybe coming from me from outside of government, it's even more convincing. We do have a very pro-innovation government in the UK. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, in his first speech when he came to power, talked about the opportunity of life sciences and the strengths that the UK has in areas like gene therapy and biotechnology. And the government is investing significant amounts into life sciences and science more generally as well, more than any previous government in my lifetime, at least. And although the financial situation is obviously difficult in the UK and in many other countries in Europe and elsewhere in the world, the government is sticking to its commitment to raise investment into science. And specifically on life sciences, I'd encourage you, if you want to get a snapshot of what the government is trying to achieve in our sector, to go and read the recently published Life Sciences Vision, which you can find on the government's website. So this is a strategy document that the government published last year, where they set out their ambitions to both focus on particular disease areas such as cancer, obesity, dementia and aging, and also grow the UK's capacity in clinical research, in genomics particularly, and also opening up NHS health data for researchers. So as you know, we have a universal healthcare system in the UK, set up in 1947, a huge wealth of data. It was a fairly early adopter of digital health records, and there's been work ongoing for many years now to connect up all of the computer systems in the NHS to make that data available, covering someone's health from their birth to their death, across primary healthcare and secondary healthcare and hospitals, making that data available for researchers through safe and accessible secure health research environments where companies can go and do their research without raising concerns for the public about the sharing of that data. So thank you very much for listening to that introduction to our sector. and what the BIA can offer and what the UK can offer. I will now hand over to Rosalind for to delve more in depth into those qualities, but I'll obviously be happy to answer any questions at the end.
Thank you very much, Martin, for your presentation. Now, let me introduce you to Roshan Neil. He's our second speaker. He's project manager of the investment services team at DIT, which is the Department for International Trade. She focuses on healthcare and life sciences, and her role involves helping international healthcare and life sciences companies navigate the UK landscape and land FDI projects across the UK region. So he's over to Rosalind.
Thanks very much, Felipe. Thanks very much for having me here today. It's lovely to be able to speak to you. As Felipe and Martin have suggested, I'm going to give a little bit more of an overview of the networks and systems you can access within the UK if you're interested in investing in the UK, and a bit more of an overview of the bioscience and biotechnology ecosystem. So I'll share my presentation now. Okay, can I just check that you can see that?
Yes, we certainly can see that. Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so just to, as Felipe mentioned, my role in the Department for International Trade is to help international companies invest in the UK. So that is connecting you with local partners, connecting you with universities, providing information on the UK ecosystem and information on the sector that you're interested in. So for the life sciences sector in general, the UK life sciences industry employed 268,000 people in 2020 and had a turnover of 88.9 billion. So if you're interested in investing in the UK, this is the industry you would become involved in. The Department for International Trade then has helped thousands of businesses locate and expand in the UK. So whatever kind of information you need, whatever size of company you are, we can help support your UK market entry. Okay, so just to begin, I'll give an overview of the bioscience and biotechnology ecosystem. So the biopharmaceutical sector, so that includes all the biotechnology companies, generated 69% of UK life science industry turnover in 2020. So it's the largest subsector in the life sciences ecosystem in the UK, and where the largest amount of investment and research is going into. And in Europe, the UK has the highest number of pharma and biotech companies in the leading 1,000 companies. That's more than double its biggest competitor, which is France. And to sort of give a bit more information on that, so company ownership for the biotechnology and bioscience ecosystem is 51,000 UK owned and 72,000 overseas owned. So overseas companies are increasingly finding the UK an excellent place for them to set up and expand. We already have companies such as Novartis, the larger companies such as Novartis invest in, as well as smaller digital health companies. So the largest subsegments in the industry are small molecules, therapeutic proteins, and antibodies by employment, and by turnover, small molecules, therapeutic proteins, and then vaccines. Of course, this is in large part due to the vaccine efforts following the pandemic. So you look over the right-hand side of the slide, you can see the employment distribution in the industry, and you can see that a lot of the companies in the bioscience and biotechnology industry are around the east of England. So that is the sort of Cambridge area. London, of course, has 4 of the top universities for life sciences. The southeast, so that would be Cambridge and Reading. There's some quite large science parks in those areas where you can co-locate with other international companies and UK companies for research. And then the northwest, so that would be Liverpool and Manchester. So those are sort of where a lot of international companies would setup based because there's a lot of activity within those clusters already. And a cluster is an excellent way to connect with the ecosystem. So just for sort of an overview and a bit more general overview, I'm going to have a look at some of the clusters. Depending on what you're actually researching and what you're interested in, there are obviously other clusters across the UK which may be of more interest, but just purely based on the number of companies, the leading ones for bioscience and biotechnology would be the sort of Cambridge. So it's part of the UK's Golden Triangle for life sciences, which is a renowned life sciences cluster. So that's Cambridge, Oxford, and London, which make up that triangle. So Cambridge has some of the biggest pharma companies, so the likes of AstraZeneca and Pfizer. And they're well renowned for life sciences and have the Wellcome Sanger Institute. So that's a leading genomics research institute. So you can, if you co-locate there, then you can research alongside the Wellcome Sanger Institute. Glasgow then has a growing reputation for life sciences and is considered a high potential opportunity zone for international investors by the Department for International Trade for precision medicine in particular. They have a living laboratory for precision medicine, which is on the same site as a clinical innovation zone for industry, the Precision Medicine Scotland Innovation Centre, which can connect you to the NHS, to academia, and to other industry all on one site. And the Liverpool-Manchester Life Sciences Corridor is also a leading hub. Manchester is the only region in the UK, the only region in England that has its own healthcare budget. Everything else is sort of done centrally. Manchester has its own healthcare budget, so Health Innovation Manchester can work more closely with you to look at investing in the bioscience and biotechnology sector. So that's just a little bit of an overview of some of the key clusters that you could look towards if you're interested in the UK. Okay, and then if you're interested in the UK, we have the ecosystem is interested in funding innovation. So our leading funding body is UK Research and Innovation. So they work in partnerships with universities, research organisations, businesses and charities, and they create an environment that's good for innovation. So that brings together Innovate UK, which is probably the leading funding body. They run funding competitions throughout the year, and they would be grant funding, and you can do that alongside a research institution, or some of the funding is just for your individual company. And there are also 7 other research councils. So some of them which might be of interest to looking towards for grant funding for biotechnology and bioscience would be the Biotechnology and Biological Sciences Research Council and the Medical Research Council. So there are quite a few different routes to find grant funding for innovative life sciences companies. And if you're interested in any of these, we can provide further information. The UK also has an internationally competitive clinical trials infrastructure, so you can conduct your clinical trials in the UK and then use this data to develop your product or therapeutics, all of these things. So the UK ranks first in Europe for early stage clinical trials, and we have a range of well-characterized biobanks and patient cohorts with one of the best research genomic stratification. We're done a lot of investment into this, so you can get well-characterized patient cohorts for your clinical trials. The clinical trials infrastructure is underpinned by the National Institute for Health Research, so it's the NIHR, and they invest over 1 billion per year in health research in the UK. So they support clinical research networks in the 4 UK nations. And in the UK, so we have 1.4 million participants recruited for trials in England alone in 2020-2021, and 508 commercial clinical trials initiated in 2020. The NIHR also is well connected with the NHS and other institutions. So they have support programs for international investors. So if you have something that you want to use in clinical trials, or you're interested in clinical research, you can connect them with NHS laboratories and all those networks to conduct your clinical trials. We also have a range of other supporting organisations within the UK. These are all interconnected, so you can access this sort of full breadth. So the National Health Service offers nationwide alignment, so that provides access to the UK's 67 million population, and the assets can be used in collaboration with industry to start to conduct clinical trials and things like this. The NHS also has, so it is interconnected across the UK, across the 4 nations within the UK, and across each region within the UK. And to access the NHS Trust, then there are pathways where you can apply for your products to be included in frameworks, and then all the NHS Trusts use these frameworks. So if you can get onto those pathways, then you can access the whole of the NHS. The Academic Health Science Network, so they connect NHS, academic organisations, the local authorities and industry, and they help to push innovation. So they can help connect you with whoever you need to access in the UK. There are 15 across England, and they're really invested in spreading innovation and to develop new technologies and innovative ideas across the UK. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, then, the MHRA, so it is now the UK's standalone medicine and medical devices regulator. After the UK or the EU exit, the UK has full independence on regulatory decisions. So the MHRA is now able to create streamlined ways for companies to receive approval. So they have an innovative licensing and access pathway that is specifically for innovative companies to get the streamlined process. But they do broadly remain aligned with EU medical devices regulation. So if you're meeting the EU regulation, you're likely to meet the MHRA's regulations, but we do have autonomy in that. And then the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. So that is the acronym is NICE. It provides national guidance and advice to improve health and social care to make treatment more consistent across the UK. So they publish advice in different areas within the use of technology, medicines, and all different things within the NHS. So that's a little bit about the ecosystem and how it sort of interconnects and works, and how you might access it if you were interested in investing in the UK. And then this section is just why you might be interested in the United Kingdom in the first place. So why would you like to invest in the UK? We have the 5th largest economy and fastest growing advanced economy in 2022, and ranked 4th in the Global Innovation Index. The UK is really ramping up the investment in innovation, and we're committed to becoming a research and development superpower. The government is intending to do this through investing in research and development, and by 2027, the UK will spend 2.4% of gross domestic product on R&D. We also have access to talent, so we have strong, qualified and diverse workforce, and 4 of the world's top 10 universities in life sciences, and over 260,000 people working in the life sciences industry. And we have a range of graduates every year, a range of students every year graduating in the life sciences degrees. So there's a steady flow of workforce for your company. And in terms of trade, we have an ambitious program of free trade agreement negotiations to help businesses operate from a truly global Britain post-EU exit. We're creating a global Britain will help companies who are in the UK grow. More global multinationals have created subsidiaries in the UK than anywhere else, apart from the US. And we're a leader in corporate governance and regulation. And in general, in terms of ease of doing business, the UK ranks really highly against all other nations. It ranks 2nd behind the USA for intellectual property protection. So if you do have an innovative idea, the UK will protect your patent and the UK's cybersecurity framework is the strongest in the world. Part of the research and development superpower goal is the life sciences and healthcare industry is key to the UK government. And on the back of this, they created the Life Sciences Vision in 2021, which Martin mentioned previously, and I'll just go into a little bit more detail why this would be useful for inward investors. So in terms of clinical research and data, the aim of the Life Sciences Vision is to unlock the value of NHS data. So through our biobanks and patient cohorts, you'll be able to access the data of this for your clinical trials, obviously anonymously and in protection of in undergoing data protection, but the goal is to make clinical research and data more accessible for researchers. And then in genomics and functional genomics and disease detection, we aim to transform cancer outcomes and pandemic response. And we have the world's most advanced genomic testing system. We were the first nation to introduce whole genome sequencing in a national health system. And we also in 2020 released the Genome UK strategy. So genomics and functional genomics is a really key part of the UK's investment and innovative strategy going forward. And then in terms of vaccines and advanced therapy, we aim to become the dominant European centre for the development of cutting-edge vaccines and drugs. This has been seen and developed throughout the pandemic, for example, with the AstraZeneca vaccine. And then, as I've mentioned previously, regulation, the MHRA aims to become the world's most innovation-friendly and patient-centric regulator. And then in terms of tax, the UK's tax offer still remains internationally competitive, and our corporation tax rates are in line with the G7's recommendations for minimum levels globally. So our corporation tax did go up following the pandemic, but it's still at the same rate as Germany, same rate as Spain and lower than Germany, but we do not have dividends withholding tax, so that is particularly interesting for international investors. For example, Germany charges 25% dividend withholding tax. And then we also have a number of tax incentives for research and development and innovative companies. So we have the research and development expenditure tax, a patent box regime, which creates an effective tax rate, corporation tax rate of 10% for profits derived from patents, and research and development allowance for capital expenditure in the first year. So the Department for International Trade works to promote opportunities available to inward investors. So our sort of key sectors at the moment would be precision medicine, medical technologies, and biopharmaceuticals. And you can see the sort of screenshots there. We have developed sector propositions for the whole of the UK on these three areas, which highlight the key opportunities and highlight the whole ecosystem of how we can support companies who want to invest in any of these areas. As well as this, we also work with local regions to highlight areas of high potential opportunities for inward investment. So on the map there, you can see sort of spotlighted locations there, areas of high potential opportunity where the local region is interested in inward investment. So the one up the top there is Scotland. So Glasgow has a high potential opportunity for precision medicine, particularly within therapeutics. Across over to Northern Ireland, then they have a high potential opportunity in precision medicine on the diagnostics and biomarker side of things. Just down from that, then we have diagnostics and early intervention in Manchester for healthy aging. Across over to Wales, then they have a great ecosystem for medical technologies. And then down toward just above London, we have a cell and gene therapy high potential opportunity that is sort of centered around. There's a cell and gene therapy catapult there for advanced therapies. You can get further information on all of these as well if you visit the DIT Investment Atlas. So whenever these slides are sent across, that's hyperlinked, that red box in the bottom, so you can look further into all of these opportunities that you might be interested in for the UK. Okay, and in terms of the Department for International Trade, we can help expand your business to the UK. So we can provide insights by market and insights by industry. So some of the earlier information based on clusters, connecting organisations and funding and incentives, we can provide any of the information that would be relevant to your company on that, and you can get a tailored report on that. We can highlight the opportunities that might be available for your company, such as the sector propositions and the high potential opportunities within the regions. We can provide helpful guides on visas, migration, tax, and all the regulatory stuff. We can provide links to key organisations, so this would include trade bodies such as the Bioindustry Association and any of the local partners and enterprise zones. And we also offer UK specialists, so we have 3 specialists which can discuss with your company what the best move would be for you. We have a specialist in digital health and the NHS and medical technologies, and we can also provide location support. So if you're interested in any of these opportunities or just in more of a conversation about the UK, please feel free to reach out. My contact details will be provided after this session. So that's it from me then. Thanks very much, and I'm happy to take any questions then.
Thank you very much, Roshan, for your presentation. I want to check there is no questions in the chat. I would like to ask a question, probably is for Martin. There is a recurring question regarding the impact of Brexit and potential cooperation between the UK-based companies and those from overseas. What do you make up about these make out of this side effect of the Brexit?
Absolutely. So the UK government, I mean, obviously the best funding available is the Horizon programs from the European Union for international collaboration. The UK government has said that it wants to associate with Horizon Europe and is negotiating to make that possible, and has set aside the money that it will pay to the European Union to allow its association to it. So we're all crossing our fingers that that those negotiations will be successful and the UK can associate, and that will be the best, and that will provide funding for UK companies and obviously Spanish companies to collaborate on research projects together. If those negotiations aren't successful, the UK government has said that it will set up its own international research collaboration funding scheme that will pay for the UK companies to participate with companies in Spain and elsewhere in the world. So the funding, despite Brexit, the UK government is committed to making sure the funding is available to support companies to collaborate internationally. Other issues arising from Brexit shouldn't be strong barriers. So the UK remains a very welcoming place for international mobility for researchers. We have various visa schemes if you want to come and work in the UK for a short or an extended period of time. So immigration issues should not be too much of a challenge. And then data sharing in most cases has also not been affected. And I think one of our big fears was that investment into the sector would be in the UK would be impacted, particularly from Europe due to complications with Brexit. But again, that's not really actually resulted in too many problems. So although we would really have, as an organisation, we didn't want Brexit to happen, I think we have continued to see great collaboration between UK and European companies and haven't discovered too many difficulties. One of them, I would say, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the tax incentive systems that you have in Spain, but I know for French biotech companies, if they are funding R&D in the UK, they're unable to claim R&D tax credits expenditure through the French system because we're no longer part of the EU. So it may be similar for companies in Spain in that regard, which is unfortunate, but you could set up a subsidiary, a company in the UK, and as long as you had some headcount, some employees based in it, you would be able to claim through the UK R&D tax credit system.
Thank you so much, Martin, for your answer. There was somebody who raised her hand. It's Lydia Barris. I actually changed her status to moderator. You can activate your microphone. You can speak directly to the speakers, or you can either make your question. You can either ask your question in English and Spanish as you prefer. If you do in Spanish, I can translate that into English, wherever you feel more comfortable. So Lydia, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm going to ask by the chat.
Yes. Yes, go on. You need to activate your microphone. You have switched off. Lydia, you have to turn off your microphone. You need to click on the microphone icon. We can't hear you.
I think Lydia has written in the chat.
So Lydia is asking about natural products. Was it the city with more natural companies? I think it could be answered by.
I don't know the answer directly, but I would focus yourself around Cambridge and London if you're interested in that. I think it would depend exactly what you mean by natural products, but certainly the majority of companies are based around London and Cambridge, so that's where you would have the highest chance of finding a company working in the area that you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to add on to that, it would depend what natural products you're talking about and what natural companies you would like to be surrounded by. So yes, the likes of Cambridge and London would have probably the majority of companies. They would have a good mix of companies across different sectors, but perhaps one of the other locations in the UK, you have a clinical trial in Spain. So what is the natural product you're speaking about?
She just says that I have a clinical trial in Spain and also is okay for Europe. And she's asking if it would be okay in the UK.
So that would depend. I don't think either of Martin or I are regulatory experts. That would be a question best placed to the MHRA. But in general, the sort of wider legislation is quite similar, but you would need to get approval through the MHRA as well. It may be possible to use the clinical trial data from your trial in Spain and Europe to get the approval for the MHRA, but you would need to register with the MHRA within the UK as well to sell in the UK market.
Okay, but I don't know if that answered your question, Lydia. If you'd, okay, yes, she says thank you. So really, we've got further questions. Right. Right, there are no further questions in the chat. So just before putting an end to this webinar, I would like to remind all the attendees that both presentations as well as the recording of the session is available for whoever is interested in getting them. Just send us an email to the following email address, which is reinounido@extenda.es, and we'll be very happy to send them to you. And finally, thank you very much for being with us today. Both Rosalind and Martin allowed us to share their email addresses with you in case you need to get further information regarding this particular industry. So thank you very much for supporting us this activity, and yeah, I wish you a very good day for everyone. Bye now.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.